Hello everyone, my name, as Joe's just said, is Brett Mitchell. I'm the Executive Director of Minerals Exploration Limited, and it's great to be here today. I'd like to, well, that's enough of me, close-up photo, but I'd like to thank Joe, Anna and Jeremy because they helped us through the dual listing process in October last year, which was a really successful transaction. And I've been involved, my background's capital markets and corporate finance. I've been involved in the mining industry for over 20 years, based out of Western Australia. But through my capital markets and corporate finance background and in the listed company space, I've undertaken a number of dual listings into Canada and the UK. And I can say that the process here, dual listing on the NZX, was by far and away the easiest, and it was the most efficient, and we really look forward to engaging with our New Zealand shareholders moving forward. Yeah, a little bit of background is, as Joe touched on, MEX was previously known as Uvray. It was a spin out of Delta Lithium. I was previously a director of Delta, and 5 years ago we spun out a non-core uranium asset, which I sat on the board as a non-executive director for. Delta, as you're probably aware, is a very successful lithium explorer and developer in Western Australia, and recently also spun out Ballard Mining on its Mount Ida gold project. I then was engaged by the Uvray board and major shareholders to find a new suite of assets to take the company forward. And then in the middle of last year, we decided we were going to pursue or acquire a suite of brownfields gold projects here in New Zealand and be focused on the development, the exploration of these brownfields projects. And for those of you who are unaware, the brownfields projects are basically ex-production or exploring in and around ex-production assets. And the opportunity we saw in New Zealand, which I'll touch on shortly, was that these assets hadn't seen modern exploration and money and activities focused on them over the last couple of decades. We acquired the assets in July last year, and our flagship asset is the Waitakauri project, which is in the Hauraki goldfields. We're currently drilling underway now, so we've got results coming through. And you know, it's a very high-grade gold system right near the Oceana's Waihi operation and WKP. There's the disclaimer, which means you can believe most of what I say. One of the key reasons that attracted us as the Uvray team to acquire these brownfields gold assets and the minerals exploration transaction was that New Zealand has been completely re-rated as a jurisdiction for mining investment in the last few years. And I'm from Western Australia. Western Australia is known as the leading mining state in Australia, and the fact that the Fraser Institute Index, which was put out nearly a year ago, that New Zealand was ranked ahead of Western Australia, made this a very interesting proposition for us to come to New Zealand and pursue these projects. From a corporate perspective, we've got a neat set of assets, we've got a great board, and we've got a really tight capital structure. We've only got 190 million shares on issue. We've got about $4 million in the bank, and our enterprise value today, where we're trading at about 10 cents a share, is about $15 million. So a $20 million market cap, which means we've got a very, very small valuation for the assets that we have. Therefore, any exploration success that we have moving forward over the coming sort of months and years will be reflected in the share price. Another key part of the transaction that in Uvray's acquisition of minerals exploration was it was headed by, the assets were put together by Peter Zittinen, who's our New Zealand CEO and chief geologist, and also an epithermal gold expert. But this was backed by Norm Seckold. And now Norm has got an amazing reputation in the Australian resources industry. He's taken 6 mining exploration projects through to production over his career. He's currently the chairman of the $3 billion market cap nickel industries. He's also the executive chairman of Alpha HPA, and he was the original chairman of Santana. So he has a a storied history in the Australian mining scene. He's also experienced with respect to the New Zealand mining landscape and operations here. And then this was going to be Norm's sort of Santana 2.0. Norm's the chairman. I'm the executive director, as I touched on, capital markets and corporate finance. My background, although I've been involved in the mining industry for a couple of decades now, based out of Perth. Peter Nightingale's a non-executive director and Norm's right-hand man, been with him a long time. Alex Passmore is a mining executive based out of Perth and the managing director of New Murchison Gold, and he's a non-exec on our team. So we're very strong in the mining space in terms of exploration and development of early stage projects. The projects that we acquired were put together by Jason Beckton and Peter Zitnan. Peter's here with me today. Please come and find us out at the table during the breaks if you'd like to ask us any questions. But Jason and Peter are both geologists and epithermal gold experts and put these projects together. The 4 projects we have two in the Hauraki goldfields in and around Waihi, and that comprises of our flagship asset of Waitakauri, which is only 5 kilometres from Oceana Gold's Waihi gold mine, and on the same structural trend as WKP. It's within the Hauraki goldfields that's been operating for 150 years, and that's the one thing that really attracted us to this project. It's had some historical production of very high grade, and then in the South Island we've got 2 projects in the Otago goldfields. Both of these are orogenic gold resources, and both are sort of sit in the same structural trend as Macraes and Rise and Shine. Waitakauri we got 58 square kilometres of exploration permit. It's got its historical production was in these Hauraki goldfields is over 15 million ounces. And of gold and 60 million ounces of silver. Within this area of our project and along this structural trend, we have 4 1 million plus million ounce deposits. We've got Waihi, WKP, Golden Cross, and Karangahaki. And the Karanga, the incise towards the bottom of our tenement area, is the Karangahaki project and New Talisman's project, and Jane, who's here, will be presenting on that shortly. The other thing that really attracted us to the projects, MEX's projects, was with respect to the Waitakauri project, not only that there was historical production here, it was a brownfields project, but it was located close to Waihi, which is, as I explained to Australians, it's like the Kalgoorlie of New Zealand. The infrastructure there, the skilled workforce, and it's a very, very good location to basing our main project. And this is our flagship project, and there's 3 historical mines and prospects and old mines on our project: Jubilee, Scotia, and Sovereign. We started drilling. We started drilling at Scotia earlier or late last year. And then follow-on drillings commenced at Jubilee earlier this year. One of the big things that really attracted us to this was the fact that it's sitting along strike and within our tenement boundaries, only 5 kilometres away from WKP. And WKP and those 3 other plus 1 million ounce deposits sit on the same structural trend. And the WKP deposit, which is currently over 2 million ounces at 14 grams. Oceana have been aggressively drilling this project over the last couple of years and are drilling south towards our tenement boundary to look to extend that resource. And from meetings that we've had with the Oceana exploration team, who have been very collaborative and very helpful with us, which is another great benefit and something different in the New Zealand mining industry as opposed to Australia, where it's a lot more adversarial. They've been very helpful in sharing ideas and concepts and helping us with increasing our geological knowledge as quickly as possible. But the fact that they, in step-out drilling over the last 12 months, they've intersected hits that were 13 metres at 25 grams, 4 metres at 43 grams, and very, very recently 14 metres at 16, drilling down towards our tenement boundary, shows that we believe that there's a lot. This is a very underexplored area, and it's going to be the focus of our operations moving forward. And there's a lot of, and because it's been so underexplored for all the reasons that you're aware of here in New Zealand, but that's all changed very, very recently with the gold price and with the change with government policy. That's the opportunity for us as an explorer and with a very, very experienced exploration team and strategy of how we can unlock value for shareholders and for the company, and to find a commercial scale deposit here. As I touched on, we've commenced drilling at Scotia South initially and underneath the old Scotia workings, and at Scotia itself, we intercepted which was published earlier a month or so ago, 4 metres at 5 grams as part of a single hole that we put down there, which will require more follow up. So that's very, very encouraging. And what we're looking for in these systems is 10 gram metres. So we want to find, that's the sort of metrics that we're looking for that will indicate we're onto a commercial scale deposit. We know we're currently drilling at Jubilee. We've just completed our 4th hole there. We expect to announce our initial results shortly. And what we're looking to do is look to drill underneath the old workings. There's a picture of the drill rig in action recently, which shows a very sort of small footprint in terms of the drilling location and also the minimal environmental impact. And what we're looking to do is to drill in and around the old workings to look to extend the resource at depth and along strike. Now this is a cross section of some of the underground adits at Jubilee, which we're drilling in and around currently, and this is our main focus and will be for the next 6 to 12 months in terms of our exploration program. And why we're so excited about it, because those 10 gram metres I was talking to you about from channel samples that were taken along the vein, in the early 90s by Cyprus, but 13 metres at 80 grams, 24 at 45. And 23 at 42 just shows the high, the very high prospectivity that this ore system carries, and the high grade gold. Also, our second project that we have in the Hauraki Goldfields is, please excuse my pronunciation, Wairongamai, or WNG. It's easier for me. And this permit exploration permit application was accepted in November. We're working through with the NZPM on this. We expect to get this granted shortly. This is very much a secondary focus for us, but again, it was historical production with another brownfields epithermal deposit, gold, silver, with some copper and some base metals as well. And this is sort of for a longer term focus for us moving forward. But this is a very interesting project. I know Peter's put a lot of work into this and really likes it. But this is going to be a longer term exploration focus for us. Oh, we stuck. Oh, apologies. Okay, onto the South Island projects. We've got 2 projects in the South Island, both either side of Queenstown. The Invincible Gold Tungsten project is just outside of Glenorchy. We acquired this again. It's another brownfields project. It was an old mined in the early 1900s. It was, it produced gold at about 30 grams a tonne, and was mined for about 25, 30 years. The other thing that this is actually currently, it's a prospecting permit. We've just completed the exploration programs to actually convert it into an exploration permit. We've just lodged last week the documentation to convert that to an exploration permit, and the idea being that we're going to undertake some more field work and drill planning over the next 6 months while that permit works through the process. So we're in a position to be able to start some exploration drilling activities later this year. The other thing that really interested us with this project is that it has geological signatures of the gold tungsten contact in the TZ3T4 contact, which has a similar signature to what Macraes have and Bendigo Ophir. Interestingly, there's some at Glenorchy. There's some old tungsten mines. We're doing some work on those at the moment. They're on our permit. They produce very high-grade tungsten, historically at about 1%, and the tungsten market has gone a little bit nuts in the recent months on the back of geopolitical issues and the Iran war, and the move to armaments, and weapon and defence industries, and tungsten's used in that. So that's something that's sort of very interesting from our perspective, to do further exploration work on these old tungsten mines. We're starting to do some work on that now, and it'll be outlined in our quarterly report, which we'll be putting out in the coming days. The other project that we have in the South Island is Aotearoa, and that is again an old gold mine. It's on an exploration permit. This will be the first project that we do drill test on the South Island. We're currently working up the drill targeting on those. We'll run Peter, a gravity survey in the next month or so to find some drill targets, and then get after that later in the Q3, Q4 this year. So to wrap up our company and why, from a New Zealand shareholder perspective, we believe we have a very sort of interesting and compelling investment opportunity for retail high net worth investors at our market cap, and on the back of success, we'd like to be attracting institutional money to take our exploration project through to development once we've established a commercial grade ore body. But we've got 4 very, very interesting projects led by Waitakauri as our flagship project right next to Waihi, and the drilling we're doing at Jubilee now. The brownfields exploration focus is really important because it means that we're drilling under known gold systems and known gold ore bodies that have been mined in the past. So it really reduces that risk of exploration, and as Pierre Lassonde and others say, the best place to find gold is under old gold mines. So that's our strategy and what we're attacking. We've currently got $4 million cash in the bank, thereabouts. I've touched on Norm Seckhold's track record, which is very compelling, and in our industry, in the minerals exploration industry, if you find a deposit and take it to production, you do that once, you're considered to have done a good job. If you've done it twice or 3 times, you're a bit of a superstar, and Norm's done it 6 times. He's 78 years old. He's still working really, really hard. Executive on one multi-billion-dollar market cap company, another one nearly $1 billion. So he's very focused, and he just loves backing his companies and his teams to develop these projects. One other thing with Waitakauri, other than it being in the structural trend that hosts multiple million-ounce deposits, our project is, and 80% of it at Waitakauri is either on forestry or dairy farmland, so we have accessibility issues is no problem. We're not operating in DOC land, so which makes drilling and exploration activities a lot more readily accessible, and also a lot cheaper. So with the drilling activity we've currently got underway at Jubilee, and the results will continue to come out on a monthly basis over the next 6 months, followed up by the activities that we're looking to undertake down at Aotearoa and Invincible. In the second half of the year, we're going to have lots of news flow, lots of activity, and at our current market cap of $20 million, we're very highly leveraged to any success through the drill bit. So thank you very much for your time, and if you've got any questions for Peter and I, please come and see us out at the booth.